Hey everybody, welcome back to another movie review. Hope you guys been enjoying the content on the channel as of late. Excuse me again if there's not been a consistent line of content. Just been doing my thing. Mostly been out surfing and doing other things, hanging out with my brother and stuff like that. So just been doing my thing. But today I actually have a double feature. So I have this film and then I have another film tonight that I'll be checking out. So you'll have two reviews back to back. So this one will be dropped on Wednesday and the next one will be dropped out on Thursday. And this one is definitely a act of self-indulgence because I really had no interest to see this. Nor did my brother really. But I thought just for fun, I thought we would just check this out and see what all the fuss is about in regards to this film. That film that me and my brother decided to check out, he's stepped out for this review once again, but I'll relay his thoughts, which are very similar to mine again. That film that we saw today is Smurfs, which was directed by Chris Miller. You guys may be familiar with films such as Puss in Boots, as well as Shrek the Third. He, along with Pam Brady, who wrote the screenplay, she is known for work such as The Bubble with Judd Apatow, which I really did not like that film. Ruby Gillman, which I've reviewed on this channel with my brother, literally fell asleep through that film. As well as a few films here and there. She has a credits for the upcoming SpongeBob film, Search for SquarePants. So those are the people that are at the helm of this. Now, the stars are Rihanna, as which also is a producer and also provides some songs. She stars as Smurfette, and the story as it goes follows a couple of Smurfs in Smurf Village, and namely, we are following a no-name Smurf that there's, because every Smurf has like a characteristic to them. And this one specifically, voiced by James Corden, does not have any specific gifts. And he is feeling a bit of an outcast. And one day he starts to just get powers, and he starts to use those powers and unleashes forces that are familiar and also a little bit not so. And it is up to the Smurfs who Papa Smurf, who is voiced by John Goodman, eventually gets captured, and the Smurfs have to find a way to save Papa Smurf by traveling through the multiverse, through a lot of different forms of animation, a couple of Rihanna songs, and a whole lot of nonsense. So, just to put it into perspective for you, the Wikipedia page actually describes the film very perfectly to me, which is this. Smurfs is a 2025 American live-action animated musical fantasy comedy film. I think that kind of summarizes my thoughts on the film, because so here's the thing. So I went into this knowing that there was a lot of negative reactions to this. I also, by the trailer, thought it did not look particularly interesting. And as I illustrated up top, this is basically an act of self-indulgence on my part. And I'm really kind of amazed by specific aspects of this film, and then rather bored by many other aspects. To start with, though, at least in some positive manner, the talent that is with Rihanna when it comes to singing is recognized here. I mean, she wrote a couple of songs for this film, and they're fine. They do their job, and they're nice to the ear. And excluding a lot of the elements that surround the performances, they're fine. They don't do much of anything, but they function okay in terms of just what's acceptable in terms of just the art of acting. It's fine. They do whatever they need to do. But beyond that, there is just so many issues with this film. As the Wikipedia page I think perfectly illustrates, there is just so many things that they want to do with this film, and none of them come to fruition. And it's not just to do with a visual format, because the visual format's all over the place. There's some points where the characters are in a 3D format, and then they go into a 2D format, and then some points they're still 3D, and then they are in the live action world, and yet live action things can interact with the 3D characters, or at least the 3D characters can interact with live action characters, but yet the Smurfs themselves do not transform into live action elements. Visually, it's just all over the place. It just has no rhyme or reason on that sort of level. But then you get to the script, and this is where things just get absolutely just bonkers, because this is a very poorly written script. On one level, it's just incredibly lazy because of just how things are constructed in terms of how things are laid out by information. Things just either are not given enough time to really sit with, or especially when you get to its third act, things just literally do not make sense. There's a whole thing about James Corden's character where he has no name, and it's basically a film about finding one's purpose, finding one's identity, casual ideas. But the fundamental problem with this movie is that the script just does not have cohesion. It does not have consistency because it is too busy trying to establish other elements or present other elements, and it just really goes nowhere. Like, we have things going on with two brothers, and then we have things going on with two other sets of brothers, and then we have just the Smurfs themselves and their own quarrels trying to get through this adventure together. It is a clashing of many elements, both on a visual medium, on just how it's literally written, and it just comes across incredibly, incredibly messy. Now, originally the Smurfs franchise originated from, or at least had a long partnership with Sony. They produced 2 live-action movies. They did an animated feature, and somehow, some way, this film found its way to Paramount. And they apparently are planning out multiple films in the Smurfs franchise, this one being the first, and they at least describe it as something of a musical. I think those elements are extremely casual, and I think the musical elements are really to do with just Rihanna coming in and doing her thing. And it's just all over the place. It is just a film that is all over the place and does not have a through line. It does not have any structure, and it just, like, the third act to me just really feels like the writing just stopped. Like, I just feel as though that the writing just did not exist anymore, and people were saying things, but it didn't add up to much. And things that were established are then subverted, but not subverted in ways that are earned or feel understanding. It's more of a more like condescending than anything else. It just never comes across as anything genuine or interesting. It's just so just thrown together, just mashed up, and it does not earn any of that kind of chaotic nature. It just does not work. So that description, again, just works perfectly. A live-action, animated musical fantasy comedy. That's literally what it is. If it sounds like it's a mess, it is. And, financially, it's not done any business, so I don't think Paramount's going to be even curious to touch another film like this for a while. And, I wouldn't put it past them if they didn't, because, yeah, this really feels like two specific ideas at play. It feels like, on one hand, they're trying to do something with this franchise. They're trying to do something rather simplistic, with the Smurfs trying to get Papa Smurf back. It seems like that's always the case with these films. And then Rihanna came along, and then she wanted to do her thing, and they tried to incorporate a lot of Rihanna's ideas and her music, and all of it just feels out of place, and it clashes with the elements that are there, and none of it comes across, again, well integrated, well oriented, well thought out. And then the script as it stands, it's like first draft, So, yeah, it is not good. It is really, really not good. I was more amused by just the, like I told my brother, I was just kind of gobsmacked by how the third act was made, because fundamentally doesn't make a lot of sense. And I was kind of amazed by just the flames that were erupting from that third act. So yeah, very oddly visualized, poorly written. The framework, just the overall structuring of things, it just is just a big fat mess. And I want to go into it kind of having a little bit more of a different take, because the film has been getting a lot of negative press, and I was kind of hoping maybe I'd be an exception to that. But you never want to go walk into anything with a negative attitude. But I do concur with a lot of those sentiments, and my brother was also one of those as well. He really was not a fan of this either. Yeah, really, really, really poorly made. And I wish that I could say anything higher, but really, the more I think about it, there are more negative things that I can say about it than anything else. And that's extremely, extremely unfortunate. But given what is here, I shouldn't have expected anything else. And I didn't. I knew this was probably going to end up being bad, but I'm kind of amazed by how bad in some ways it actually is. It's really, really not well made. Just really, really not. The script, especially, like, I'm kind of surprised by how it was literally told. So, yeah, not good. Not good. Not good. Not good. Not good. So yeah, so those are my thoughts on Smurfs. Yeah, really not good. Yeah, really poorly judged, really poorly made, and I seriously doubt the series is going to exist, at least for the next decade or so. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Smurfs. You guys, let me know your thoughts on Smurfs if you guys saw it. I mean, if you enjoyed the film, let me know your thoughts. If you guys didn't, let me know your thoughts also. Your thoughts on the previous incarnation of Smurfs. There was the live action films, and then there was an animated feature. Let me know. Let me know all your thoughts on all things Smurfs related in the comment section below. And that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until then, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.